What's up, everybody? Cutroneo here, back with my 8th video in my video progress series on Saudade No. 3 by Roland Dyens. Back to a normal practice schedule, and something that was really interesting, which is fairly typical at this stage of the game, working on a piece of music, is that first performance that you heard at the beginning of the video really didn't hold itself together. It's not where it was at the end of last week. It's better, but the licks were really sloppy. There were just things that just were not where they needed to be. So I spent time drilling out those licks as usual. I'm finding in the right hand with those licks, with those AMI licks, is that there's actually some tension in the A finger as it's preparing that sort of is tightening up the rest of the hand. So I found that actually coming down to the string with my A finger was the key in keeping my middle finger relaxed. So tried to work on that. Other things was just going over some of those lick areas, and one of the things musically that I was working on was within this section, giving a little bit more of a space, getting into that. So it's still a little inconsistent in the actual performance that you're going to see at the end, but I think I've figured that section out, how that's going to work, by giving a little bit of a breath. So I'm going... So I'm going to actually take a breath there in between. Now there is a fermata on that F sharp in the piece, so I'm going to use that and make it a little bit longer, at least in the beginning, and maybe as time goes on I'll try and tighten that up a little bit. Other than that, the syncopated left-hand only section in the second half was a little funky. Interestingly enough, and we'll kind of see this in the later performance, is that I felt that the dance was better the first time, and then the second time I was sort of a little distracted, I think, or just, running a little bit on empty that didn't allow me to get through that dance section as well as I would want to. So it's one of those things where I think just a little bit more time singing letter names. The main goal for today was just to start working on the last section of this piece, and I did so, and I got pretty much up to the end of the first page. I have about a line and a half left to go on that. Lots of tricky rhythms, lots of incomplete measures, 3/4 plus 3/16, and things like that. So I spent a lot of time really trying to understand the accents and where things are going. So for instance, the first measure is a measure of 3/4 plus 3/16, and I'm really feeling it not in that at all, but rather I'm feeling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and that kind of thing. So I'm really feeling the rhythms by the accents that are presented rather than the time signatures. And Dyens gives us accents in there that I think are really important. I did a lot of sort of, like, there's another bar of 2/4 plus 1/16. I'm thinking of that in a bar of 9/16, because really what we have are this ascending group of, if I'm counting the 16th note as the beat, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a set bar of 7 and 5 right afterwards. Makes way more sense to count the 2/4 plus 1/16 bar as a bar of 9/16 and group it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there goes between a bar of 4/4 and 3/4 plus 2/16, which would be 7/8, right? So I'm thinking 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3. And I'm going back and forth that way rhythmically between a 4/4 and a 6/8 count. So there's a lot of, the way that I split my time practice-wise is about 20 minutes was spent on all the old material. So that was the first and the second movement, which is probably the reason why that third movement, the middle part of the dance wasn't as solid as I would want it to be. And then I spent a good 25 minutes on just that one page, really working it out, really understanding some of the metric changes. I'm seeing that the 16th note becomes the 8th note later on, which I didn't perform that way. So if I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it actually might be, that part might actually be slower than what I played it at. I have to look at that again. So I have to think of that for tomorrow. I'll make sure, actually right now I'm going to put a big question mark here. But before I do a final recap, let's listen to what I've got so far. Not much to report on this. It's sort of where I expected it to be. some of those licks in my right hand, I need to just really drill out to the point of where I can just rely on them. Like I said, sort of my main concern right now is not necessarily polishing everything super clean for a performance. I'm not rushing to perform this piece, so really it's just getting the whole thing in the memory. Notice that I'm not really pushing any of the speeds at all. This last movement should probably go like that. So I'm not trying to push any of these speeds at the moment. I'm trying to just keep it nice and easy and really focus on memorizing and learning as much as possible. And, you know, I'm kind of being surprised in learning this piece where I'm getting good chunks of the music learned every day that I go to learn a new piece. So I think the goal for tomorrow is to work through the end of the first page, and then there's a repeat towards the bottom of the second page of this section. And I'm looking over it really quickly. You know, it might be doable to get all the way through there, through the repeat. At least through the first ending. There's a first and second ending, and I'm not going to worry about the second ending just yet. Looking ahead, actually, there's only three more lines after the first ending. We'll see. I'll try and push to the end of that, because then there's a largo section that ends the whole piece. So I'll try and push and work through. I need to really memorize what I had learned today. It was kind of memorized, kind of not, and all that stuff. So there's still a lot of stuff to do. So thanks again for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'd be more than happy to answer them, whether it's in the comment section or in an actual video response. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell notification button so that way you are notified every time I release a video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.